Hey, it's Aaron here, and today I'm going to share with you 7 tricks that you can use to save money fast for the future. If this is the first time you're watching one of my videos, I always come up with content that will teach you how to be more successful using the power of the internet, so consider subscribing to the channel if you're not already subscribed. So saving money is actually a very, very good habit to form. A lot of people in the world right now, they spend way too much money on their credit cards and they are overextended, right? A lot of people have a lot of debt. So in this video, I'm going to show you 7 tricks that you can use and you can implement, and it's going to get you those great saving habits so that you have more money, you have more security, you have more comfort, and you're just going to be a lot less stressed. The first trick to saving money fast for the future is to live below your means, okay? There are way too many people that, again, overextend themselves. They spend more money than they have. They try to keep up with the Joneses, right? They want to impress everybody around them, so they end up spending a lot more money than they actually have, and that's how a lot of people go into debt, right? So what you need to do is you need to practice something called delayed gratification. That means that you don't need to gratify yourself instantly. What you need to do is you need to take a step back and you need to realize that you don't need all that new stuff that comes out. So for example, you don't need the newest flat screen TV. You know what I mean? You don't need the latest Yeezys. It's all about practicing delayed gratification and just using the things that you already have. As long as they're functional, you don't need to upgrade to that next thing. For example, I was using my iPhone 5 when the iPhone 10 was out, and I'm an internet marketer, right? So think about that for a second. I was still shooting all of my videos on YouTube with my iPhone 5. Can you believe that? And this is my actual profession. And I didn't even upgrade my phone because the iPhone 5, the camera and the mic on that phone was good enough for me to do everything that I needed to do. Could I have spent money on the iPhone 10? Absolutely. But at that point in time, the iPhone 10 was one of the most expensive phones, and I just thought to myself, it doesn't make sense to spend 3 or 4 times the price of an iPhone 5 to buy an iPhone 10 when the iPhone 5 works perfectly fine. And the truth is that a lot of the older models will do exactly what you need them to do. You don't need the latest version. And that is an example of delayed gratification and living below your means. So if you can just take a look at your life and scale back a little bit and think about, what do I really need in order for me to survive in my life? Do I really need that pair of jeans? Do I really need that new sneakers? Do I really need the newest iPhone? And a lot of the time, you're gonna realize that you actually don't need to buy those things. And just by doing that and instilling that habit of living below your means and delayed gratification and just taking a pause, for 24 hours, 48 hours before you decide to buy something, you will automatically have a habit of a lifetime that's going to save you a lot of money. So make sure you implement this habit. This is super duper powerful. The second tip to saving a lot of money for the future is to not use your credit card. I know that sounds crazy, right? The truth is that I only use my credit card for convenience. Okay, now, of course, it is great to have a credit card, but here's a trick that you need to implement. Instead of using your credit card, use a debit card, okay? Because the problem with credit cards is you're spending money that you don't actually have. And every time you spend money on your credit card, you basically owe the bank money, right? And every month that you don't pay your debt back, the interest builds and it rolls and rolls and rolls. And so what a lot of people get into trouble with is they put expensive things on their credit card that they can't afford. Like they put their rent on their credit card. They put their electricity bills, their phone bills. They put their mortgage on their credit card. And when you can't pay that amount of money back, the debt starts to get really big, and so does the interest. And then you can't even cover your debt. You're just paying interest every single month, and that debt is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how you get into a lot of trouble. And there are a lot of people in the world, especially in countries where using a credit card is very normal, that this becomes a huge problem. A lot of people have a lot of debt. So the trick here is to be very, very disciplined and never use your credit card. The only time you should ever use your credit card is if you have a real emergency. Literally, like it's a life and death kind of thing. You need to use that card, otherwise, you can't get home, or you're gonna be stuck out in the cold, or you're gonna be thrown out of your house, or whatever it is. But otherwise, use a debit card so that the money that you're spending is from your savings account. Because when you use your debit card, you're spending money that you actually have. It's your own money. So you're going to be very, very cautious about the purchases that you make. And this will make a huge, huge difference in your life. And then after that, you're gonna realize that actually you don't really need a credit card ever.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
So if you want to find out exactly how I was able to get to over $1 million in commissions, I would love to show you how to do that for free. I've got a 6-figure workshop that you can check out if you want. All you need to do is go ahead and click the link below and register for that workshop, and then just check your email. Make sure you check your spam folder, because sometimes emails end up in spam these days, and then enjoy the workshop. Third trick to save money fast for the future is to actually stop eating out so much. We live in a world today where a lot of people eat out all the time, right? Nobody really wants to cook. But the truth is that the more you eat out, the more money that you spend. Because just eating out in restaurants, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that adds up to a lot of money. Here's a trick, right? If you want to find out how much money you actually spend on food, do the calculation. Actually grab your calculator, okay, and then plug in the numbers on average. How much do you spend for a meal when you eat out? And you probably eat out quite a lot. And then when you multiply that by how many meals a day, and then by 30 days for the month, you'd be surprised how much money you actually spend on food. So the trick here is, instead of eating out all the time, you have to learn to go to the supermarket, the grocery store, buy good food, good quality food, and learn to cook some simple meals at home and then break it up. You can even do something called intermittent fasting. So I don't even eat breakfast. My last meal of the day is dinner, and then I skip breakfast, and my next meal is actually lunch. And you might be thinking, well, Aaron, isn't breakfast the most important meal of the day? Well, the reality is that you don't really need breakfast if you eat lunch onwards. Your body works on actually a 24-hour system. And again, you know, some people might fight me on this, but I've been intermittent fasting for the last 8 to 9 years, and I don't even get hungry until lunchtime anyway, and it helps you to cut back, you know, calories, you stay in shape, and you also get to save on one meal because you're only eating lunch and dinner, so that's only 2 meals a day. Now imagine if you packed a lunch to work, like a sandwich or a salad, and that's very easy to do the night before, and then you come home and then you cook a simple meal for dinner. Think about how much money you're going to save just from not eating out in restaurants all the time. Now, I'm not saying eat at home for every single meal, but if you think about eating more meals at home and doing more meal prep, you're automatically going to stop eating out so much, and you're going to make a lot of savings there already. Fourth trick to save money fast for the future is to change your caffeine habits. Okay, now I know this is a controversial one, right? Now, I'm not saying quit drinking coffee, because I understand there are people that just absolutely love their coffee and they can't function without caffeine. What I'm saying is change your caffeine buying habits. All right, I used to work in Starbucks when I was growing up. I was about 18 years old. I did it for a summer job, and I remember this very clearly. But our Starbucks was located directly opposite an office building, and these two gentlemen used to come into Starbucks, and I used to serve them. As soon as they walked through the door, I knew exactly what they wanted, and they would come in 4 times a day. And they were ordering venti triple shot types of coffees, so it was very, very expensive. And when I did the calculations, they were literally spending hundreds of dollars every single month on coffee, right? So think about this. If you buy your coffee outside at wherever, Starbucks or your local coffee shop, you're paying roughly about, you know, if you're in the US, $2.50 per coffee. Now, if you drink coffee 3 times a day and you're buying coffee out all the time, that's about $7.50. And if you multiply it by 30 days, you're spending about $225 on coffee a month. Think about that. That's a lot of money. $225 a month on coffee if you buy coffee outside. So what I'm saying is, don't necessarily quit caffeine, but change the way that you actually drink coffee. Perhaps what you can do is buy coffee from the supermarket, right? And then you can prep it. You can buy a little thermal flask, right? And fill up the coffee for the morning, and hopefully that will last you for as long as possible. And then you can drink coffee at the office instead of buying expensive coffee outside. Or you might even consider trying to cut back on your caffeine a little bit and maybe drink something that's a little bit cheaper, like tea, because tea still has a lot of caffeine. I drink a lot of green tea, I drink a lot of black teas, and that keeps me going through the day. Trick number 5 to saving money fast for the future is actually wearing very, very simple and basic clothes. I know that sounds really weird, but it's kind of a lead on from the first trick, which is living below your means. The truth is that, you know, people don't really care what you wear. I mean, you don't need to wear the latest jacket, the latest Yeezys. You don't have to look super fly all the time, right? I mean, if you see a lot of my videos on YouTube, I wear really basic stuff. So I wear generally, you know, plain white t-shirts, dark blue t-shirts, dark black t-shirts, right? Again, it does a lot of things. It saves me a lot of time. I don't have to really think about what I need to wear in the morning when I, you know, start work at in my home office. And also, I get to save a lot of money because I'm not necessarily buying expensive stuff to wear every single day. I mean, yes, maybe you want to have a couple of nice items. I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend a little bit of money on maybe a nice shirt or a nice pair of jeans once in a while, but you don't need to be fully branded all the time. There are a lot of great retailers out there that sell really great basic stuff, and to be honest, there's nothing better than a nice simple top to actually look quite good. And if you're doing that every single day, it just saves you a lot of money over the long term. Trick number 6 to save money for the future is to cut out bad habits, okay? So there's lots of bad habits that you can cut out, but let's talk about the 2 biggest ones, which is smoking and drinking. All right, now I'm not saying cut them out completely, all right? Because I do like a good drink, especially on the weekends, right? But what I'm saying is don't drink as much as maybe you're drinking right now, or don't smoke as much as maybe you're smoking right now, right? If you're smoking vapes, it might be a little bit cheaper, but it depends on what you're smoking, because if you're smoking the ones where you have to buy all the time, that can add up to quite a lot of money, right? So instead of maybe smoking, I don't know, 20 sticks a week or whatever it is, you can maybe cut down to 3 sticks a week. If you're still smoking old school cigarettes, I mean, I have friends that used to smoke a pack a day. And in countries like, for example, Australia, where it costs 30 Aussie dollars, it might be even more expensive now. Think about that. 30 Aussie dollars for a pack of cigarettes. Let's do the math on that, right? If you're doing 1 pack a day, 30 times 30, you're spending $900 a month on cigarettes. That is absolutely insane. Now let's just cut that by half. Even if you were spending $500 a month on cigarettes, that's a lot of money to spend on cigarettes, right? And then let's look at alcohol, right? If you're drinking, you know, a few beers every single day, let's just say you drink, you know, 3 to 5 beers a day, that can also add up to quite a lot of money, okay? So I'm not saying don't drink and don't smoke, but if you cut those habits down a little bit and just think about how much money you're actually spending on these things, right? And do you really need to have 5 beers a day? Do you really need to smoke half a pack of cigarettes a day? Maybe not. Maybe you only need to smoke 3 cigarettes a day, for example, right? You have to start somewhere. Maybe you only need to have 1 or 2 beers a night, and then you can cut it down to, for example, you know, having a beer 3 times a week, right? And then maybe you can cut it even down lower to maybe just on the weekend, on Friday and Saturday. Maybe you have, you know, maybe a glass of wine, you know, or 2 midweek, and then you leave it to the weekend. And you can cut these bad habits down. I've seen people do it. I've done it myself. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of willpower, but if you really want to save money, then you have to think about where a lot of your money is going. And a lot of money generally goes to some of your biggest habits, and some of these habits are probably not serving you so well for life. So definitely think about that. And the 7th trick to saving money for the future is every time you get your salary in your bank account, you want to set up an automated standing order that saves a bit of money from your salary and sends it into another bank account. So for example, let's just say your salary is whatever, $4,000 a month, right? You set up an automated standing order that takes out maybe $800 or $500 or $1,000 and auto deposits it into a completely different bank account that you just leave completely on the side. So it's not connected. So let's just say your salary gets paid into Citibank. You have an auto standing order that pays into a completely different bank. It could be HSBC, for example, or whatever it is. And that is your kind of savings account, and you don't touch that money, right? You don't actually see it. You only spend the money that comes in to the salary bank account. And that way you're auto saving, it creates good habits. And if you think about it, if you use all of the strategies that we spoke about in today's video, you will just automatically have some great habits right there, and you're just gonna save a lot more money. So I hope you enjoyed this video today, and I would definitely like to hear in the comment section below what are some of the aha moments that you've had, and would appreciate some thumbs ups if you got some value from this video today. And if you would like to take your income generating potential to the next level and you would like to leverage something like the internet, I would love to show you the best strategy that I've used to create a multiple 6-figure business online. And you can just go ahead and click on the description below or in the comment section, and I hope to see you on my free 6-figure workshop where I actually show you in detail exactly how to do this. See you there. So I hope you enjoyed the video today and you got lots of value from it, you learned a lot from it. If you like content like this, remember to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification so you know every time we come up with a brand new video. And if you want, you can check out one of the videos I recorded recently, super fun. You're gonna get a lot of value from it as well, and I hope to see you there. Take care.